Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kate, and today I'm going to be talking about just all things college advice, things I wish I knew before I came to college. I am now a senior. I go to the University of Florida. I'm a nutritional sciences major on the pre-PA track. That's kind of my background info for you guys. Now that I am a senior, I thought it would be a really good idea to sit down and film a college advice video because I know it's the beginning of February right now, so a lot of schools have recently come out with decisions or decisions are coming out soon. I don't know, I thought it would be good to just give some freshman advice from a senior who I feel like has learned a lot and grown a lot and accumulated some great knowledge about college and how to survive in it. I have this list on my phone of topics that I wanted to discuss, and I made this list over a year ago, and I'm just not filming the video because I finally feel like now is the good time to do it now that I'm in my last semester of college, and I want to share with you guys things that I have learned because I didn't have someone tell me these things before I came here. I'm gonna tell them to you just so that you can learn from my mistakes. So I kind of have this split up between academic and social. I think those are kind of the big two categories of college. The first thing I want to talk about is college applications and decisions in general. For me personally, I applied to a good mix of schools. I applied to a few reaches, a few safeties, and then some that were kind of right in my wheelhouse. I was really disappointed with the outcome of my decisions. I got rejected from a lot of schools, way over half the schools that I applied to. And so something that I want to emphasize right now to you guys that have just gotten your decisions back is that where you did or did not get into college does not define your intelligence or your worth at all. And for so long, I let those decisions define me, and I let them tell me how smart I was, and it was absolutely ridiculous. And I would compare myself to other people that I saw got into schools that I did not get into, and it was a really toxic mindset. If you're feeling that way right now, I want you to just ditch that mindset completely. It's so unhealthy for you, and you are so much better than that. You are honestly so smart, and just because you didn't get into your #1 school does not change that at all. I mean, I'm here at UF, and this was like my number 5 or 6 school, and it's not because it's a bad school. UF is an amazing school. I'm just not from Florida. I had no connection to this school at all. It was kind of more like a random application for me, and so it wasn't on the top of my list. But everything really does happen for a reason, and I believe that I am here for a reason. And so I want you guys to go into your first year of college with a super open mind and really to embrace whatever opportunities are thrown your way, because I feel like if you do that, you're going to have a better college experience as a whole. And if you reevaluate after a year and feel like you're not in the right place, transferring is 100% okay. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Try to keep that open mind for the first year and see where it gets you. Okay, now time to talk about majors and how to pick your major. So for me, I applied to every single school as a biology major. I was really interested in sciences, and I wanted to go into some sort of medical field. I wasn't really sure which medical field yet, but I figured that biology was kind of like a safe bet for me to go into. And actually in my preview for UF, which is kind of like your orientation, I switched my major to nutritional sciences because I am super into nutrition and I really love it. And when I was looking at the classes for it, it had all the prereqs that I would need for med school, PA school, PT school, anything like that, but it had really interesting nutrition classes that you would take instead of like genetics classes that I would have taken with biology. So my advice to you guys is to pick a major that actually interests you, because you're gonna be taking a ton of classes and devoting a ton of time, a ton of hours to studying this material every single week. And you really need to have something that you enjoy learning about. So pick a major based on something that you truly love and that you want to do in the future. Don't just pick finance because you think you're gonna make a lot of money in that field. Don't just pick biology because you think you'll make a lot of money as a doctor. Do something that truly means something to you and that's going to bring you joy in your life, because at the end of the day, 4 years from now, you'll be waking up every single day at the crack of dawn and going to work for 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day for 30 years of your life. You're going to want to enjoy what you're doing. No amount of money is worth being unhappy every day of your life. So truly pick something that you're going to enjoy and love. This is a very big tip, and this is just simple, but get a planner. Just get something to keep yourself organized. You know, in college, your professors are not going to remind you when the exams are when homework is due, when assignments are due, or projects. You have to just know that stuff. So what I recommend is on your first day of classes, when you get your syllabi, just use that first day of classes to write down all the due dates, all of the exam dates in your planner, and keep yourself really, really organized. And you're going to thank yourself later because you won't be confused about when things are due, and it'll be all in one place. So definitely just get a planner. It's going to save you a lot of stress in the long run. Also, in regards to your classes, find somebody to study with. Find somebody in that class. You know, it doesn't have to be a friend of yours. It can be anybody. Just get somebody's number and have that person be your go-to if you have questions on something, you're confused about anything. It's just really nice to have someone to go to in every single class. Also, another tip that I have is to just know what resources you have to succeed academically. There are so many, you know, campus resources like tutoring centers, utilize your TAs, all of these things. Go to office hours, utilize those resources, and look off campus. You know, here at UF we have different businesses that are devoting their entire career to helping students succeed, like Study Edge, Smoke and Notes. Also use YouTube for classes if you need more clarification on a concept. Just know your resources and utilize them. It's going to help you a lot in your classes. And also when it comes to picking your classes, please just use ratemyprofessor.com. This saves lives, truly. And you can go on this website. It's super easy. Just type in the name of the professor and you can see past student reviews on what they expect, what their policies are, all these kinds of things, how difficult their class is, and just use this to create your schedule. I dodged a lot of bullets because of this website. You're just going to thank yourself if you do a little bit of research before you pick your classes. Also, something that I didn't know before I came to college is that it is very difficult to actually get into the classes that you want and need. And this could be just a UF thing. You know, we are a really, really big school, so there's a lot of students to accommodate, and maybe at smaller schools, this isn't really a problem. But for UF, it is very difficult to get into the classes that you need to get into. I mean, when I was a freshman, I could not get into any of my classes. I had to go to like my third or fourth backup choice for classes because they just go so quickly. And as you get older and you rise in the ranks and you become a junior or senior, you definitely have more priority and you get to pick your schedule first. So it's really nice, but especially in the beginning, don't be discouraged if you can't get your classes. You'll get them eventually. It's very unfortunate and nobody tells you that. The next tip that I have is just to find a good study space for you, and that can be anywhere. For me, I discovered that I really work well in the library, and so I would go to the library pretty much every single day. This is pre-pandemic. Now I work in my apartment, but pre-pandemic I would go to the library and I would study there all day long, do my work there. I found myself to be very productive. I just really like the silence. I need it to be quiet for me to study and do work, but then I have friends that need background noise when they work to go to coffee shops or Starbucks or something like that, and some people just like to study in their room. Whatever it is, just try out a few places and pick a spot where you really think you're gonna be the most productive and get the most work done. Because for me, I would rather just sit down at a table and grind it out for a few hours and then not to do any work the rest of the day than just sit there and take breaks and chat and like dilly-dally, and then you're gonna be there all day long. So this is my key tip to doing well in your classes, and it is a little bit harsh, but I think back to high school and I remember some kids not having to study at all to do well in their classes, and it's because in high school everyone's on a different playing field. Like, everyone is a different level of intelligence. And when you come to college, you all got into the same school, you all chose the same major for that class, or you were taking the same classes, so the playing field's a lot more even. So the professors have to distinguish, you know, who's gonna get an A and who's gonna get a C by the workload that they give you guys. In my opinion, the key to doing well in college is effort. You have to put in the effort. You can't just slack off and expect to get an A like you did in high school. You really have to put in the time and the energy And for me, I found that you cannot procrastinate. I remember in high school, I would study for an exam the night before and it would go okay. But in college, I quickly learned that I needed at least like 1 to 2 weeks in advance to study for an exam. More on the side of like 2 weeks to study for an exam. So it's a big shock, it's a big adjustment, but just plan ahead. Don't procrastinate. That's also where the planner comes in. If you can see in your planner that 2 weeks from today you have an exam, you know it's time to start like picking up the pace a little bit, studying a little bit each day. And then lastly, something that I kind of figured out about halfway towards the end of college is that getting good grades and a good GPA is not enough to get a job after college. You really have to involve yourself in other things to get noticed. And I definitely recommend starting this your freshman year. You don't have to go crazy and join 10 clubs, but just join like one thing. Something that's going to look really good on your resume, but that you also enjoy. Don't just pick something that you aren't going to enjoy, but it looks good in your resume. I became a TA for Orgo 2, and I really actually enjoy that, and I enjoy helping other students through a class that I know a lot of people, including myself, struggled with. I joined a pre-PA club, which I love because it really taught me a lot about the PA profession, and I get to hear from PAs every week, and that's really cool, and I actually do enjoy that as well. I think that's everything that I wanted to say academic-wise. Let's move on to social life. So let's start with just making friends in general. So I thought that I would come into college and just be best friends with my roommates. I thought I would meet friends in class automatically. I was planning on rushing and joining a sorority, and I figured that's 300 instant friends and I'll make friends right away. And that's just not how it is all the time, and it can be a big adjustment for you, especially if you had really close friends in high school that are no longer with you in college. I think it can be very difficult for some people to adjust to that, but you just have to put yourself out there, and that's the biggest thing. You know, friends aren't just gonna walk up to your doorstep. You have to put yourself out there and ask other people to do things first. If you live in a dorm, you know, ask some of your hallmates to go grab coffee or go to a workout class. If you're joining a sorority, ask some of your sorority sisters to do the same thing, or people in your classes, or really anything like that. They're not always going to come to you, and your best friends aren't always going to be the people that are obvious. It's not always going to be your roommate. I've had like 8 different roommates in college. I always lived in 4-4s until this year, but I've had like 8 different roommates, and I was not really close to any of them, and that's completely fine. You don't have to be best friends with your roommate. Don't feel weird if you come into college and that's the case for you as well. You will find friends in time. You just have to put yourself out there and make that first step, and asking people to do things is gonna be key. Also in college, you are gonna find yourself with a lot more free time in the beginning, especially like your freshman year. You're probably gonna have a lot of time in your schedule that you're used to going to school all day long, and now you have only an hour or 2 of class each day, and it's just a very different schedule and routine for you. So I recommend filling that time with things that bring you joy and that make you happy. You know, keep yourself busy, keep your mind busy. You know, if you enjoy working out, you know, go to the gym every day, or go do yoga, or go walk around and explore your campus, go try out new restaurants, go find local shops, stuff like that. Just fill your day with things that bring you joy. I know for me personally, I moved to Florida for college. I'm from North Carolina originally, so being out of state, I didn't really know anybody. I'm dealing with, you know, my family being far away. I also started a long distance relationship at the same time. My boyfriend went to college in Indiana, so I was dealing with a lot of different emotions and things that I was coping with, and I find it really helpful just to keep yourself very busy. So we'll talk a little bit about college partying and that whole scene. So when you come to college, a lot of people are going to really let themselves loose and party a lot. But I really want to emphasize that it's okay if you're not one of those people. I am not one of those people. When I came to college, I had no intention or desire to party at all. That's completely fine. And if you do want to party, you do want to go out more, that's fine too. You just have to do what makes you happy. I know for me, I struggled a lot in the beginning because I realized that people were making the most friends by going out and going to bars with people and stuff like that, and I just had no desire. I did not care to make friends that way, and that's completely fine. You just have to figure out what it is that you want and don't feel any pressure to go out just because everybody else is. Also on the topic of going out, I didn't struggle with this because I didn't want to go out in the first place, but I saw a lot of my friends go through it and they felt like they had to go out every single night. Like if something was going on, they felt like they had to go, or they would feel like they were missing out on stuff. And you are not missing out on anything. I promise you that there is something going on every single night, and if you have to stay in one night to study, or you have to stay in one night to do something, or you want to have a girls' night with your friends or something like that, and there's a party going on, it's okay to miss it. There's gonna be a party the next night too. Don't feel like you have to go out every single night, because I promise you there's gonna be plenty of opportunities for that. You have 4 years of this, so don't feel the pressure to go out all the time. You know, just go out when you truly want to. Also, on that note, everything looks more fun on social media, and I know for me, I would not go out and then I'd wake up the next morning and I would see on Snapchat these different videos of the night before and some of my friends that had gone out, and it looked very fun. It looked like they were having a great time, and then I would see them later in the day and they would tell me it was actually horrible. Everyone is going to put their best foot forward on social media and only post things that look happy and look fun and look amazing, but that's not how they actually are in real life. The last thing I think I'm going to end on right now is the hookup culture of college. So obviously I came into college with a boyfriend. We were long distance, but I didn't have to deal with hookup culture, but I, again, saw a lot of my friends go through this stuff, and so I want to put that advice out to you guys. Coming to college, a lot of people are not looking for relationships. That doesn't mean everybody, some people definitely are, but a lot of people aren't. So it's important to just know that not everyone is going to be on the same page as you, and not everyone is going to want to be in a relationship. That's totally fine, but it's just something to be aware of so that you don't go into something and think that someone wants something more with you when really they don't want that. They just want to hook up a little bit. I've seen too many of my friends get hurt because they wanted something more with somebody and this person was just not on that page. And if you find someone that's awesome and you really like them and they're a really cool person and they make you happy and you guys are on the same page, I think college relationships are amazing and you learn a lot about yourself and you're growing a lot with another person. But just make sure that you are on the same page with somebody before you start to make that step. That's all I have for you guys today. I really hope you guys found this advice helpful and useful, and I hope that if you are starting college this upcoming fall, you have the best time ever. If you guys have any questions about literally anything at all college-wise, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm happy to talk to you guys, and I actually love doing that. Thank you guys for staying till the end. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video.